One of the other things I like to do is beekeeping. I'm not very good at it. I don't know a whole lot about it, only in it a couple years, but I enjoy it and it's fun, and we get some honey out of it. My little apiary consists of just a few hives. I think I've only got 3 left. I lost a couple during the dearth last summer and one over the winter. But this hive right here, it's really strong. They kept us super full of honey all winter long. And if you look really close, you can see they're just bringing the pollen in on their legs. If you look really close, you can see pollen on all their legs packed in as they're bringing it in. So I'm gonna go through the hives and see how they're doing. I've got to add a super to that hive right there. I think they're busting at the seams already. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a super on them so they'll have plenty of room and eliminate their desire to swarm, because in another month they'll be wanting to swarm as they start, if they start running out of room, and they'll be wanting to swarm anyway from what I can tell. So anyway, and I suit up. I have enough aches and pains. I do not delight in getting stung, although I still get stung. I've got friends, Jason, if you're watching this, you know who you are, that seems to delight in getting stung, but I don't like it. Anyway, I'll pull one of these apart and try to show you a little bit about what's going on in there. I'm gonna pull the top off and let's see what we got in here. They look like they're busting at the seams, but sometimes, yeah, we got a nice population from the winter. This is just a feeder where I fed them during the winter. I'm gonna take that out now because we obviously don't need that. And I've got a frame that's had some pulled comb on it from last year. We'll put 2 of these back in so they can get busy. And let's pull one of these center frames and see. Yes, I'm a pansy. I have gloves on. I'm proud of my gloves. So call it what you want to, Jason. I'm a pansy. I grew up surveying. I got stung by yellow jackets enough to get my feel of being stung. Yellow jackets are mean. Okay, look at there. They're already at it with brood. So queen is going at it. A really good start on the year. Today is March the 1st, so they are wide open, and some honey right around the edges of the brood. You see pollen packed in there. Man, yeah, this should be a strong hive as the spring goes on. That's exciting. And they are a little feisty, which is good. It seems like feisty is good. Slide this one in too. I got this queen excluder. This will keep the queen. This will keep the queen in this bottom brood box. She cannot get through these little holes, but the worker bees can, and the nurse bees and whatnot. And then we're going to put, I brought this honey super for them. So they can get up in here and start working this. And this has, I went and had some frames left over from last year I bagged up to keep the wax moths out of and kept in the freezer last fall, but already has pulled comb from last year. So they'll clean all this up, add to it, and they can go ahead and start packing honey in there without having to spend a lot of time building new comb. So kind of got an assortment of, you know, it's how it's progressed. Like this one is full, so this one, I mean, they'll build it out a little bit more, but they'll be ready to put honey in there in no time. And I just do 9 frames in these supers instead of 10, and space them out just a tiny bit. That'll make a fatter honeycomb when they cap it. And they're a little easier to deal with the extra space. I mean, you would get a little bit more honey with a 10th frame, but it's a little easier to deal with for me. So that's the way we'll do that. Put this inner cover back on. They've started building a little comb on here, which I can take off, but there's a good example of a bee with pollen on its legs right there. Her legs, I should say. I'm just going to scrape this off so they won't be tempted to work up here. And I built all these boxes myself, except the frames. Frames are cheaper just to order them, but the inner covers, really save money building the inner covers, and the bottom is where I save money. The box, you can about buy the boxes as cheap as you can buy the wood, but the inner covers and the bottom screen, you can save a little money building your own. And the top, I just take a piece of exterior siding and paint it and make the top out of it. All right, I'm gonna move on to the other hive, but that's probably all we'll show on video today. All right, I am gonna pop the top of this one. This is my strongest hive. These bees are a bit aggressive. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go get the smoker. All I'm gonna do is look in a couple of these top frames and see if there's progress being made as far as what they're bringing in. I'm not going all the way in the brood chamber. I don't think there's any need. This is a very healthy hive. I'm sure they're going gangbusters down there in the brood chamber. And I really don't want to deal with them down there. Pull the center one. I just put this super on about a week ago. Yeah, they haven't started up here yet, which is fine. I've actually got 3 supers on here, that's right. Because the second super was still had some honey in it, or was starting to be. I had some honey in it a couple weeks ago. So, let's see what's in here now. They're just building comb on that frame. They're building comb, sticking the frames together. No, boys, girls. Thought I'd remember seeing a few frames with honey in here. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, that one's got some weight to it. Yeah, they're starting to put honey in this one. You can see it shiny there, right in the middle. And yeah, they've already capped some of that. So the super under this is probably fully capped now. And they may just be moving stuff around. They may be moving it from the bottom up. I don't know. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, I would put my finger and take a taste, but it's kind of hard to do with a veil on. I've tried it before, but my finger hits the veil because I forget that it's on there. And then you got a sticky veil and you still didn't get the taste of honey. This super off too, just to see what's. It's a nice warm day. A lot of worker bees are out working. So they are very kind right now. There's partially capped. It looks like the next frame there is fully capped. Oh, look at there, y'all. Doesn't that look good? Barring a disaster, looks like we're in for a good harvest off of this hive. I treated all the hives for mites about a month ago in one of the cold spells with oxalic acid, so hopefully they will be, the mites will be at bay. this spring, and then I'll treat them again in the summertime once the flow stops, or the brood's already stopped. When the brood slows way down. All right, let's put this one back together and let them be. Haha. I guess that was a dad joke. I always hate squishing them when I put it back together, but it's inevitable. All right. The only other hive I have left is this one, and it's not very strong. It struggled through the winter. Very weak hive. Let me go grab my hive tool. I gave them some pollen patties over the winter. They didn't even eat all of that. Let's see if they've started making brood, which will assure us that the queen is healthy and in here. Oh wow, there she is. If you can see her, right there's the queen. See her? So she's definitely okay. And she's got some brood in there, although it's not condensed and organized like I'd like to see it, but it's in there. Keep an eye on her so I don't harm her when I put her back in. It's hard to see, but I see lots of eggs and lots of larvae in there and some capped brood. So she's doing good. Yeah, lots of larvae and eggs mixed in with the capped brood there, so all that'll fill in an organized fashion. So yeah, that looks good, with some honey starting to be stored around the perimeter, and some pollen in there, so they'll catch up and hopefully be a strong hive. This was actually a strong hive last year. It swarmed a couple of times, and I think mites hit it pretty hard, so hopefully it'll revive and be strong again in the next month or so. I need to split that big hive over there so I can, but I'm gonna wait another week because it's gonna be cold this week, and give them a little opportunity for some better weather to get started when I split it. But that's my ditty about beekeeping. Remember, like and subscribe.